Peace, beautiful souls. Okay, so I'm gonna read to you guys another paragraph in The Power of Now, and then I'm gonna share my opinions and what came up for me. It says, when you start to disidentify and become the watcher, the pain body will continue to operate for a while and will try to trick you into identifying with it again. Although you are no longer energizing it through your identification, it has a certain momentum, just like a spinning wheel, that will keep turning for a while, even when it is no longer being propelled. At this stage, it may also create physical aches and pains in different parts of the body, but they won't last. Stay present, stay conscious. Be the ever alert guardian of your inner space. You need to be present enough to be able to watch the pain body directly and feel its energy. It then cannot control your thinking. The moment your thinking is aligned with the energy field of the pain body, you are identified with it and again feeding it with your thoughts. So he was talking about the pain body also kind of like in the same way as the ego, like the version of you that wants to basically be in victim mode and separate from everything else, right? So it'll constantly, again, if you're identifying with that pain body or that ego version of yourself, you're constantly putting yourself in you versus everything else state, like you against the world, when it's really not the case, where you're really not in competition with anybody unless you allow yourself to be, and you're not the victim unless you allow yourself to be. And that's not to say that people do not go through things, right? Do not misunderstand me, please. But when I say that, it's like the pain body, the ego, you're attaching yourself to what you experienced in a way that ends up being extremely harmful and detrimental, because you keep yourself there. You keep yourself again against that thing, right? And so you, in order to for that version, the pain body or the ego or whatever, to stay alive, it has to keep putting itself in that position. So it's constantly going to have you thinking and looking for things to put you back in in that state, in the victim mode state, in the state, the version of you that's just constantly getting hurt. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so in that case, when you're identifying with it and when you're letting it take control, you're going to keep making choices and repeating patterns that keep you there, and blaming the outside world, blaming other people, but in reality it's you allowing these things to happen, right? Like you accept what you accept and you don't accept what you don't accept. And it made me think of, there's so many times, right? One thing that I keep doing, a pattern I keep, I'm gonna say kept, was like overeating, right? Until like I didn't feel good. And I knew I was doing it for comfort, even though I knew that wasn't working for me. For a long time, food was something that helped me feel comfort when I felt lonely, when I felt sad, or whatever the case may be, until it didn't. It's gotten to a point where it doesn't feel that way. It just causes me pain, physically, emotionally, and mentally, because then I start like kind of like beating myself up about it. Not so much, but like I know I shouldn't be doing it. I know it's not helpful for me. And I would keep asking myself, what version of me, what part of me wants to torture myself? Like what part of me wants to feel suffering? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm causing myself to suffer. And I go like this because it's an illusion, the suffering, right? And it's, I trust you understand what I'm saying. And I've had a conversation with a mutual recently, and again, in even this book, the conversation even started from this book, tying that to the ego, right? The version of us that's separate, trying to protect us in a way, but it's disconnected, right? That's the part that wants the suffering. That's the part that continues to choose these patterns that are not helpful for us. They don't do us any good, right? And the goal is never to destroy the ego or destroy our shadow selves. It's to bring those versions of us to the light, to higher the frequency of those versions of us to match like our highest self, right? And again, it's not to destroy, just bring awareness to, send it love, give it healing, help it grow. It's not to condemn it to hell or shame it or make it feel bad or whatever, because that feeds it, first of all. it feeds it. It causes that separatism. Our ego doesn't realize it is actually a part of us in the highest sense, and it doesn't realize like our highest self is also here to protect us in a different way, though, in a softer way, in a way that like you don't have to be against everything. Everything doesn't have to be against you, but that's how the ego looks at it as, right? Like competition, a fight, and it doesn't have to be that. You can protect yourself without engaging in that thought pattern or mentality. You can keep yourself safe. You can have these boundaries without having to like fight. You get what I'm saying? There's another part too where it says where there's anger there's always pain underneath, and I love that because I say that even with my affirmation book. um for sadness and anger, I put it together because to me they go hand in hand. There's almost always, really always, like if you go deeper past the anger, there's sadness under there, some feeling of something that links to the sadness. And a lot of people find it easier to express their anger, which again is where that ego comes through. If you put the ego down and let yourself really express the fact that you're sad or your feelings are hurt, maybe the anger will arise, but it's not going to take the forefront, and it will change the way that you react or express those feelings. And I feel like too you can be, I was gonna say sad and angry, but like yeah, it goes hand in hand, but it's slightly different, but they're one and the same. They stem from that. They stem from the sadness, and okay, yeah, sometimes it's easier to hold on to the anger or move from that spot than it is sadness, because in today's society sadness is not as accepted as anger is, especially I would say for men, even for women, but for men too. Like if they're expressing sadness, it's like they're being a girl or whatever. I made a video about this briefly. Like anger is more accepted in today's society, and the ego usually responds with that, right? And again, in that you versus me type of state. The biggest thing too I wrote on the sticky note is like, oh crud, what I'm taking from this is like getting to a state of discipline and regoverning the control of your mind. Someone else once said to me too, it's like your mind is made up of a bunch of different versions, right? There's the shadows, the egos, the your highest self, and it's like taking turns. There's the seat in the middle of the control, and it's like jumping. And for most of us, for a long time until we realize it, it's that ego and the shadows that are in that middle seat, in the control seat. And yeah, the point is to gain that discipline. Be aware of the thoughts, be aware of your ego's thoughts, your shadow's thoughts, and realize, okay, that's, I'm not going to say it's not you because okay, it's a version of you, but that's not the highest version of you. It's a version of you that is still, like I said before, needing love, needing more healing, needing to be brought to the light and embraced, not shamed. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes right now, but y'all get what I'm saying. I trust you understand what I'm saying. Again, the whole point is it's just more love, embracing that, and shedding light. And when I say shedding light, it's not legit a flashlight, but yes, a flashlight, as in exposing it and really understanding like where are these thoughts coming from, where is this coming from, and how to actually fix it. Like what do they actually need? That's something that helps me when I'm letting go of things, especially things that I would say I was addicted to, like smoking before, or this thing I got going on or had going on with the food. Like, what is it that I really need in the moment? Because it's not this, it's not the victim mode mentality. And you have to figure out what that is and give it to yourself. I'm not saying it's easy. It can be, and it gets easier, but in the beginning it's not, and it's much more than just being aware of it. It's what you do after that. That's another video I want to make. Awareness is like one part of the story. Um like being aware of your patterns and the things that you do. But once you're aware of it, then what? That's when the that's when you find out like what is it that you really want, because you're going to do what it is that you actually want to do, to let those things go and grow, or continue on the same patterns. When you're really tired of it, you're going to do it. And I'm talking